Welcome to Random Flyer, the podcast that brings you the true stories of New Zealand's airline history. Today, we're looking at Air New Zealand's Boeing 747 fleet. Some carried Maori place names, and some wore special liveries, and many went off to serve in far-off corners of the world under new identities. These are their stories. On 22nd April 1980, Air New Zealand gained government approval to purchase 5 Boeing 747-200Bs at a cost of about $320 million. The first, which was already on the production line, was planned to go into service by mid-1981, with another 2 following later in the year, and the others delivered during 1982. The 200 series for Air New Zealand was powered by Rolls-Royce's class-leading jet, the 3-spool RB211-524D4 high-bypass turbofan engines. The majority of Air New Zealand's Boeing 747-200B fleet were withdrawn from use around the turn of the millennium and went to Virgin Atlantic Airways Limited, with all of them moving on to the now-defunct Russian carrier OJSC Transaero Airlines in 2005 and 2006. ZK-NZV was a Boeing 747-219B powered by 4 Rolls-Royce RB211 high-bypass turbofan engines and was accepted by Air New Zealand at Paine-Field Everett on 22nd May 1981. It was named Altair. It arrived in Auckland on the completion of the delivery flight from the United States a few days later on Friday 29 May. After some time, it flew the inaugural Auckland to London service on 26 August 1982. NZV was withdrawn from service at Auckland in early 1999 and underwent heavy maintenance and major refurbishment in preparation for its sale to Virgin Atlantic. This involved the installation of new cabin sidewall panels, new seat covers and carpets, and upgraded galleys. In July 1999, she became GVZZZ, Morning Glory, with Virgin Atlantic. It was later owned by Wells Fargo Bank Northwest and finally joined Transaero Airlines in April 2006 as VP BQE. NZV was retired and withdrawn from use on 6 May 2011 and was broken up in 2013 at Moscow Domodedovo Airport, aged 32 years. ZK-NZW was a Boeing 747-219B powered by the Rolls-Royce engines and was accepted by Air New Zealand at Paine-Field Everett on 9 June 1981. It was named Tainui. It arrived in Auckland on the completion of the delivery flight on Wednesday 10 June. Following service with Air New Zealand, NZW was sold in April 1999 to Virgin Atlantic and was registered as GVBEE, named Honey Pie. It was then quickly sold to ACMI lessor Air Atlanta Icelandic as TFATN and then leased to Nigeria Airways in 2002. NZW then returned to Virgin Atlantic and then went to Transaero as VP BQA in March 2005. NZW was broken up in March 2012 at Moscow Domodedovo Airport, age 31 years. ZK-NZX was a Boeing 747-219B powered by Rolls-Royce engines and was accepted by Air New Zealand at Paine-Field Everett on 21 June 1981. It arrived in Auckland on the completion of the delivery flight from the United States on June 22, 1981. NZX was leased to Malaysia Airlines Berhad as 9M MHG in 1992 and was returned the following year. It was then leased to Virgin Atlantic as GVSS Island Lady in June 1993 and was returned to Air New Zealand that November. NZX was retired from the Air New Zealand fleet, operating the airline's final Boeing 747-200B passenger flight, NZ90, on Tuesday 29 June 1999. This was a flight from Tokyo Narita Airport to Auckland and on to Christchurch. NZX was transferred back to Virgin Atlantic, this time as TFATW, leased from Air Atlanta Icelandic in January 2002. NZX was withdrawn from Virgin Atlantic use in April 2005 and was transferred to Transaero as VP BQB and stored at Moscow Domodedovo Airport in April 2009, where it was broken up, age 34 years. ZK-TGA is a Boeing 747-2D7B and was the first Air New Zealand 747 to be powered by General Electric's CF6 engines. TGA was originally registered as HSTGA and first flew for Thai Airways in November 1979. It was leased to Air New Zealand briefly during 1996 before being converted to a Boeing 747-2D7B SF variant cargo plane and flew for Atlas Air until being withdrawn from use and flown to Roswell and then Mojave, where it is currently reported as being stored. NZY was a Boeing 747-219B powered by Rolls-Royce engines and was accepted by Air New Zealand at Everett Painfield on 22nd June 1982. It arrived in Auckland on completion of the delivery flight shortly after acceptance. NZY was leased to Air Pacific for a few months during 1996. It was then refurbished and sold to Virgin Atlantic in 1999, along with the other 5 core Air New Zealand 747-200Bs, and registered there as GVPUF, named High as a Kite. NZY was then stored at Mojave from May 2002 until 2006, when it went to Transaero as VP-BQC that September. NZY was withdrawn from use in November 2011 and stored at Moscow Domodedovo Airport, where it was broken up in June 2015, age 33. ZK-NZZ was a Boeing 747-219B powered by Rolls-Royce engines and was accepted by Air New Zealand at Everett Painfield on 25 August 1982. It was named Tokomaru. It was leased to Malaysia Airlines as 9M MHH during 1991-92 and operated the Hajj program flights with PT Garuda Indonesia TBK for 10 weeks in mid-1993. It was then leased to Air Tours International Airways as GJMAA in 1998. NZZ was returned to Air New Zealand in November 1998 and was sold to Virgin Atlantic as GVIBE Dancing Queen, later Spirit of New York, in 1999. In 2005 it became VP-BQH with Transaero until 2011. NZZ was then stored at Moscow Domodedovo Airport from 2011 and was broken up there in June 2015, age 33 years. The first Boeing 747-400 joined the fleet in 1989, bringing glass cockpits, winglets, and an extended range with more powerful, updated engine. On 26 September 1987, it was announced that Air New Zealand had placed an order for 3 Boeing 747-400s for delivery from July 1989, although delivery would be delayed somewhat. The 400 series had 379 passenger seats with 48 first class, 39 business class, and 294 economy passenger seats. It was powered by 4 Rolls-Royce RB211-524G turbofan engines. These engines were a significant upgrade from the D4 model of the 200 series, bringing with them a larger fan diameter, a 4th low-pressure turbine stage, and full authority digital engine control. The engine's overall pressure ratio rose from about 28.5 to 1 to 32.8 to 1. These improvements gave the 400 series 747s a higher takeoff thrust of 58,000 foot-pounds compared with the 53,000 foot-pounds produced by the D4 engines on the 200 series. Externally, the engines had a fuller cowl nacelle with a deep chute forced mixer which cut noise pollution and increased fuel efficiency. ZK-NBS was the first to be delivered new to Air New Zealand on 14 December 1989. It was named Matatua, but was immediately leased to Cathay Pacific Airways Limited as BLIA, on account of an industrial dispute with the pilot group who were intended to fly the new plane. It was returned to Air New Zealand in February 1991 and renamed Bay of Islands. On 30 December 2008, MBS completed a 2-hour test flight using a 50-50 mix of Jet A fuel and biofuel from the Carmelina plant in its number 1 left-hand engine. NBS was withdrawn from Air New Zealand use in January 2009 and was stored at Roswell, and was broken up there in September 2010, age 21 years. ZK-NBT was a Boeing 747-419 powered by the improved Rolls-Royce engines and was delivered new to Air New Zealand on 31 October 1990 and was named Kaikoura. It was leased from Global Caffeine Leasing Limited and arrived in Auckland on completion of the delivery flight on 2 November 1990. During the global downturn in demand for air travel following the global financial crisis, NBT was withdrawn and stored at Auckland from September 2009 until August 2010, when it was returned to service as demand picked up again. It is seen here at Los Angeles in February 2004 and at London Heathrow in February 2004 and 2006. It was finally retired in February 2012 and stored at Goodyear Phoenix Airport in May and was broken up there the following year, age 23. ZK-NBU was a Boeing 747-419 powered by Rolls-Royce engines and was delivered new to Air New Zealand on 14 September 1992, leased from GKL. It is seen here at London Heathrow Airport in January 2003 and 2010. NBU was withdrawn from Air New Zealand use in February 2012 and stored at Goodyear from May 2012, where it was scrapped, age 21 years. ZK-NBV was a Boeing 747-419, but this one was fitted with a General Electric CF6-80C 2B1F engines and was delivered new to Air New Zealand on 31 October 1998. It was the first of the Air New Zealand 400 series to be fitted with the General Electric engines, which were mechanically simpler and had a reduced fuel consumption. NBV wore Lord of the Rings livery from 2002 to 2004. It is seen here at London Heathrow in October 2003, June 2004, and at Los Angeles in February 2005. NBV departed Auckland on the last outbound commercial flight of an Air New Zealand 747 on 10 September 2014 and returned on 12 September and was withdrawn from Air New Zealand service. NBV was then ferried to Madrid in Spain, where it became ECMDS for Wamos Air SA in January 2015 and was fitted with 463 seats compared with Air New Zealand's 379. While with Wamos it was leased to Saudi Arabian Airlines and Garuda Indonesia before final storage in Roswell in 2021, where it was broken up in June 2024, age 26 years. ZK-NBW is a Boeing 747-419 fitted with General Electric CF6 engines and was delivered new to Air New Zealand on lease from ILFC on 8 September 1999 and was named Wellington. It carried the All Blacks Rugby World Cup 1999 markings. It is seen here at Auckland in December 1998 and at London Heathrow in December 2006 and again in September 2007. NBW was withdrawn from use in September 2011 and was placed in open storage briefly in Auckland until October, when it was flown to Tel Aviv and converted to a cargo plane for Air Castle, becoming a 747-419 BDSF. With Air Castle it flew for Asiana Cargo from 2012 and then Air Zeta, with whom it is currently active. ZK-SUH was a Boeing 747-475 powered by General Electric engines and started out as VPI, flying for Brazil's Varig SA from May 1991. It was delivered to Air New Zealand on lease from ILFC on 7 November 1994 and was named Dunedin. Its New Zealand registration, ZK-SUH, was selected in honour of ILFC Chief Executive Officer Stephen Udvar-Hazy. Following the September 11 terrorism attack in New York and subsequent drop in international airline patronage, the plane was withdrawn from use on 22 January 2002 and was stored in Auckland, where it was observed with 2 engines removed. It returned to service later that year on 4 August. It is seen here at London Heathrow in December 2002, April 2003 and October 2010, and at Los Angeles in February 2004. It was withdrawn from use after operating its final revenue service, San Francisco to Auckland as NZ-007 on 15 July 2014, and was stored at Victorville, where it was broken up in October 2016, age 25. ZK-SUI was a Boeing 747-441 powered by General Electric engines. It was delivered new to Varig as VPH in April 1993 and was transferred to Air New Zealand on 17 April 1995 following a major cabin refit and repaint at Mobile Airspace, Mobile, Alabama, and was named Queenstown. It is seen here in Auckland in March 2003 and at London Heathrow in May 2009. It was withdrawn from Air New Zealand service in August 2010 and became TFAMX with Air Atlanta Icelandic, but operating for Saudi Arabian Airlines, until being retired and stored at Goodyear in October 2014, where it was scrapped at age 23. ZK-SUJ is a Boeing 747-4F6 powered by General Electric engines. It was initially allocated in 756PR and was to go to Philippine Airlines, but that was not taken up. It was delivered to Air New Zealand on lease from ILFC as ZK-SUJ on 7 October 1998, following repainting at Dothan, Alabama, in the Air New Zealand livery, and it was called Auckland. Further work was done on the plane on its arrival in Christchurch by Air New Zealand Engineering Services to ensure the plane met Air New Zealand fleet standards. SUJ wore Lord of the Rings livery from 2003 to 2004. It is seen here in Auckland in February 2003, London Heathrow in June 2003, Los Angeles in February 2004, and Auckland again in February 2005. It was withdrawn from use by Air New Zealand in March 2011 and was flown to Tel Aviv for conversion to freighter Boeing 747-4F5 BDSF and was registered N469AC for Southern Air Cargo Airline. In 2015 it became TFAMN with Air Atlanta Icelandic, but operated for Saudi Arabian, then Magma Aviation, for whom it is currently active. Air New Zealand began replacing their 747-400s with the new Boeing 777-300ER, introducing them to the fleet from December 2010, with the core of that fleet being online by September 2014. The final Air New Zealand Boeing 747-400 service was flown by ZK-NBV on 12 September 2014, a return flight from San Francisco.